So here we are on the 1050 Sport. Typical early spring weather. Kicking it on some back roads, get a real feel for what it can do. This is a 2013 model, the revised model Tiger Sport. The gearing on this is closer together. 6th gear has been shortened considerably. The handlebars have been moved back closer to the rider, and the pegs have been moved forward closer to the front wheel. The swing arm has been extended, so it's got a longer trail. A few people have said in other reviews that it may feel a little cramped. Well, I can tell you I'm a big bloke. I'm tall, I'm over 6 foot. I've been riding this a good few miles already. I don't feel cramped at all. It's a nice, comfortable position. The foot brake is very intuitively placed, as is the gear selector. Also for 2013 is the narrowed seat, making it easier for the shorter rider. 17-inch rims, single-sided swing arm. It's not particularly an adventure bike, and it's not particularly a sports bike, and it's not particularly a touring bike. It's kind of a hybrid of styles. It handles like a Tiger. It handles like the big XC, the big wide bars. The longer swing arm just lets you slide into corners, really bend it over. I mean, properly bend it over and pick it back up. It's a heavy-ish bike. It feels every bit of it's 235 kilos. When the wheels are moving, that's not a problem. The shorter gearing is quite noticeable, but because of the huge amount of torque in 6th gear, 5th gear, 4th gear at low speed, you've still got enough grunt to pull you out at any rev. You're at 2000, which I am now. It's still got grunt in the higher gears. So, what is it? Well, it's an adventure sport. It's got a good turn of power, tons of torque. It's big enough and more comfortable enough to do some touring on. But it's not an outright adventure bike, and it's not nowhere near an outright sports bike. It's just as much fun. The gear changing in this is good. It's very positive. You know you've changed gear. It's a nice gear change. I like the gear change. The braking, again, very, very good. You rarely feel the ABS kick in, but when you do, it's nice, it's controlled. But to throw on-road tyres as standard on this bike, phenomenal. The handling is exceptionally good. Properly exceptionally good. You lay the power down in second, you're going to lift the front end out of a bend. It's got some power. But it's the handling. It really, after riding this, I'm left with knowing about the handling. That's my residual thought. My memory is, what a bike for handling. It's very comfortable, really is comfortable. The riding position is superb, as with all these upright adventure style bikes. The fairings do offer a good amount of wind protection. It is quite breezy today, almost blustery. You could commute quite happily on this, go for ride outs, rip around, again quite happily, and you could tour the world on it. There's a small amount of vibration in the bars that you can feel, but it's not horrific. It's no more than you'd expect. Generally handles the bumps quite well. The clutch is nice and light on this. It's very smooth. It's not heavy, it's not hard work. The biting point's comfortable. Changing down is clear, precise. Bumps are handled with a good amount of control. The sheer torque makes overtaking an absolute cinch. Again, it doesn't matter what speed you're going, if it's slow moving traffic, if it's overtaking at 55-mile-an-hour car, you can do what you need to do. Is it as nice as the big 1215 XC? No, it's not as refined, it's not as feature packed, but it's thousands of pounds cheaper, and it's not in the same category. Yes, it's a Tiger, but the Tiger Sport should really have been called something else. Don't know what that should have been, but it certainly shouldn't have been Tiger. And it should as well, because one way or the other, the XC is a Tiger, it's an adventurer. This is a Tiger, it's not an adventurer, but in many, many ways, this is far more reminiscent of the old 955 Tiger. It's got that sportiness, it's got that stance, it's very similar in outline, the layout of hands and pegs. I look at it and I'm reminded of the old Tiger. It's not the same as the XCs or even the 800 XC, far less the 1215. I really wasn't too sure on the styling of this bike from what I'd seen in the press and seeing them in the showroom, but from the rider's position it's quite handsome, and I think from the outside it's not an unattractive bike. The extended swing arm is noticeable, it adds to its poise. The single-sided swing arm also adds to the overall stance of the bike. It's quite racy, it's quite aggressive, and I think that works. It makes the bike look how it rides. A lot of bikes ride very differently to how you'd expect them on face value, but this, it goes as it looks. This is it. This is what you want. Nice big 1050. It'll have decent fuel economy, tons of torque, will pull you and a passenger and luggage for thousands of miles without breaking sweat. Looks good, sounds good. Brakes are great, steering's amazing. Seat's comfortable, position's good, mirrors are very, very good. Lots of visibility on the mirrors. I like them a lot. It's got some wind protection. Do motorbikes need anything else? I'm not sure they do. Let's do the walk round of this Triumph Tiger Sport 1050cc triple engine. Standard Triumph exhaust on this one. Single-sided swing arm, Pirelli road tyres. Very nice, really, really good. Lots of grip. Pushed them fairly far today, and they held up really well. Very impressed with them. ABS works well, it's standard. The styling, it's a mix mash of genres as far as I can tell. It's not an adventure bike, it's not a sports bike, but there's elements of both in the styling. You got the wind protection in the fairings. Bigger screen would work better, some handguards would work better, less sporty, more adventure. My preference. I like the touches, like the Triumph foot pegs there. It's not screaming out for a tail tidy on this side with the high mounted exhaust, but from this side it kind of does. So 2013 model revisions are extended swing arm, so it's got a longer trail. Really good in corners, brilliant bike in corners. The pegs are moved further forward, the handlebar position is moved further back. We've got Sachs front and rear suspension, fully adjustable, upside down forks in the front, single on the rear, and it's also got Nissan ABS. Really, really good braking, very, very good braking. Throttle's a bit snatchy in first or at very low speed, but you'd get used to it. I think I've not been on it that long and I've gotten a lot better with it, so you would get used to it. But compared to a bike without snatchy throttle, it's got a little bit of a snatchy throttle. I love the wheel design, that's really nice. The layout is the standard Triumph one that you've seen in the other review videos. It could do with the gear change indicator. I like that, and also doesn't tell you what gear you're in, so I miss that feature. It's not a necessity, but I do miss it. I do like this addition, the information selectors here controlling the display there, so you can do that while you're riding, which is good if you're on a long trip. The mirrors are good. We like the mirrors. Just generally good mirrors. There we go. That's about the story for the Tiger Sport. Handles beautifully. Loads of torque. Tons of torque. Typical 1050 engine. Lots of grunt. Lots of go. Especially in second and third. You really feel the closer ratio gearbox. And 6 being that bit shorter. Haven't really stretched it far enough to find that out, oddly enough, but you can certainly feel it in going through the gears. You can get to the top of the rev range quite quickly without realising it, compared to the 675 I reviewed last time. Red line's at just over 10 on this, whereas on that one it's much higher, 14 and a half I think. Nice bike, very comfortable, narrower seat on the 2013 revision as well. Feet flat on the floor for me. Big bike, lots of presence, very nice. I think it will fill a gap. I think with luggage on this you could tour the world. I think without luggage on it, sportier exhaust, you can mix it up with the best of them on a track day. Be a cracking bike on a track. The handling's tremendous, really good. Its best feature by far is the handling, followed closely by the power and the braking. Good bike, all round good bike. A little bit raw. It doesn't have all the electronic refinements of some of the other bikes. Does it need them? Absolutely not. Is it comfortable? Yes. Does it look nice without them? Makes no difference whatsoever. Good looking bike, sounds good, goes well. So despite the rather windy day, it's been enjoyable. It's a nice big powerful bike. It's carried me around all day on the twisties. Slightly rougher roads, slightly wet roads, some hazards from debris and leaves and such like, and it's coped beautifully. It's a road-going adventure bike with the power of a sports tourer. If you're torn between what kind of bike to get, and I know many people are, give this a try. It might just be what you need.